Yeah, that was something.
Something's alive. It's also
something's hunting us currently.
Welcome to Sugarshack. We have giant ass bugs, and
definitely not a bug.
I don't know where it is, but it's right by your head.
Oh, that's something you don't want to hear.
Epic.
That's exactly what you don't want to hear.
All right, we got Mayday here joining us.
Hello.
Sugarshack podcast. If
Back
you're not
in the shack.
familiar, back at the shack.
Back in the
You're not familiar with Mayday. You guys are. How long have you guys been together officially? You said 20 years.
It's coming up.
No, don't say that out loud.
It's not 20 yet. It's not 20 yet. I mean,
That's not kind of stuff you say
you know
out
why
loud.
everyone always takes a second to answer that question is because there's been many iterations of Mayday.
Sure.
Right.
Bernz and Plex started the group in 2006, 5, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm right. I mean, Quicksand came out. The first official like Mayday single was.
It's 03.
Oh shit, you're right. It's 03. I'm sorry.
03.
03.
So yeah, it's gonna be
The math
long time.
a long
A
time.
long time.
Very soon.
But you guys have seen some awesome development and growth. I mean, on
We've
your
definitely seen a lot of versions of, like it started as like a 2-man hip hop thing.
journey.
Microphone DJ, just get into it, getting our beat machines and trying to do that thing, and then really wanting to like become musicians for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it became a band, and then everything's kind of just fed itself from that, from like being like some kids that wanted to like play with beat machines and like make samples, and like the only way to do that was to like become musicians, was like, so that's really kind of what made it ended up where it came from, a little bit,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really what it is too is like a lot of times we wear whatever our influences are super heavy on our sleeves,
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we're listening to or into, whatever, we tend to always try and like pick it apart, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great question to start off with. Kind of, who have been some of your biggest influences as a group when it comes to writing and shaping your sound?
Well, I'll let you start on that
Oh
one.
man, that's a tough one. Man, as far as like hip hop goes, because like I feel like we're always rooted in hip hop. Obviously, like so much of what we do comes from that. Like I came up on like super heavy East Coast like gangster rap stuff, so like Biggie, DMX, Then I had to like later go back and be like, oh wait, I missed. I came into it a little bit late, past the golden era, so I had to go back and then discover De La Soul. And then go into the roots, Pharoah Monch. Like, so as far as MCs go, like me and him study MCs, big Black Thought fans, big, Roots fans. So, Outkast fans, so like hip hop is definitely a big part of it. But then our spectrum, as far as the whole band goes, pretty wide too. When it was 6 of us, it was like the musical spectrum could go from anywhere from like Fela Kuti to like fucking Led Zeppelin, to like Mars Volta, to like, we're all over the place. We're listening to Bob Marley on the road. We're listening to, it's just like so many different.
Yeah, we just
styles.
really like music, man.
We're
We just
definitely
listen
like
to everything.
we're like definitely part of that generation. Is all over the place in terms of like
Which is cool.
styles. Yeah,
But we're seeing something cool, I think, come out of that now, which is just a ton of genre bending artists.
Right. Definitely.
Where before
so.
it was just so clean cut and cookie cutter, but now you're starting to it's like unlocking a world of new possibilities.
well, back
as an
then,
artist.
like back in the day, you had to really commit to go into a different genre. You had
Yeah.
to buy those records, and then you had to be like, "Oh, I hope I like this." And it was like a commitment to get into that. Now it's the accessibility makes it way easier for that to happen. Like you can just check out and do a deep dive on a whole genre from start to finish in an afternoon.
Yeah,
Which is
that's true. I wonder if the smartphone and just like DSPs have just digital streaming platforms have just like opened up and maybe affected, which is an interesting thought. Like, do you guys think streaming platforms, or how have streaming platforms shaped music?
That's a whole. That's a big.
Right? I mean, because what we're saying is kind of like the genre bending, or the ability to experiment with different genres.
I think it's double-edged sword, as in that it like the accessibility is a beautiful thing. It gives people, like, as a fan, all this music that we have access to is great, but then also does it make us like pass on is the music more disposable now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like J. Cole put out an album recently and I loved it, and then like a month later someone mentioned it and I'm like, holy shit, I only listened to that once.
Yeah.
Like I listened to it once and loved it, and I was like, yo, that shit was riding, loved it, yada yada, whatever, and then never came back to it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think twice about it because it's just the cycle is moving so fast.
Inundation of
It's
content.
like insane to keep up with. So it's like, man, you really like it's it's a gift and a curse. I feel like personally.
Yeah, that was something.
Something's alive. It's also
Something's hunting us currently.
Welcome to Sugarshack. We have giant ass bugs, and
was definitely not a bug.
I don't know where it is, but it's right by your head.
Oh, that's something you
podcast is
don't want
about
to
to
hear.
get epic.
That's exactly what you don't want to hear.
I'll be on the lookout for you, though, bro.
man.
Appreciate that.
It's pretty hot.
Give me a heads
I
up.
know you guys can't feel how hot it is, but it's pretty hot and muggy out in this motherfucker right
True.
now.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
So y'all are on tour, or are you about to start?
No,
tour?
we're about to start a tour in October.
Cool.
5 weeks, 6 weeks,
Almost 6 weeks now. Yeah. We're
and
building it out.
hitting the Midwest, West Coast, hitting pretty much the whole country, doing a big loop-de-loop, and it's our first time out since everything happened, really. So this should be interesting.
It's a weird time. It's like
It's a weird time to go out on the road. It's all very tenuous.
we're like excited to go out, but also apprehensive and a little bit nervous about like how now the way that the world is going, and we don't know what it's gonna look like even by October.
Yeah.
That we're like a little bit. It's nerve wracking.
Yeah.
So we're like
Yeah.
we can't wait to go out. We can't wait to play. Can't wait to
can't.
tour.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
can't be too confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could easily like be accepting of the fact that we might have to not go.
Yeah.
But we're really trying not to cancel it. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
So we'll see.
Facts.
We'll see what happens, man. The world is a crazy place right now,
Yeah.
Very up in the air.
Which, I mean, some of your new stuff, at least one of the new tracks that you did tonight, was kind of inspired off of some of that.
Yeah,
kind of just the
definitely.
crazy
I mean,
times
look,
right now.
we're very, we like talk about what's going on in our lives always with our music. You know what I'm saying? So definitely hold on. It feels like one of those kind of tracks, and just being in the music business too. It's crazy. We're in a crazy, you're talking to dudes that have been now or bands 20 years now and shit like that. So our perspective is a little bit different, I'd say, and so like I don't know. We've seen the music industry change. Like when I first put out a record, like I was like putting out records. Like people don't even put out records anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just weird, And I like so now I feel Hold On is a track where we're like kind of trying to make sense of like what the hell's going on, But at the end of the day, you just have to like if you like making music, that's all you can hold on to. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit's gonna change a million times over, and your life's gonna go up and down, and you're gonna have money sometimes, and you're gonna be broke sometimes, and but yeah, you gotta love the music. If not, you ain't gonna make it past a year or two doing this shit because it's hard, Especially going back to DSPs. I mean, people are putting out 60,000 songs a day,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. From their bedroom.
right from their bedroom.
Yeah.
So, music has become a pretty hard gig. You know what I mean?
Do you think just because of the saturation and like the
Hell yeah.
accessibility?
Absolutely. Like you said, there's just, it used to be really special that you could like put out music, and it was like something that a select few were like kind of able to do, and now kind of like anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it doesn't matter how dope you are. It's just you have the whole world at your fingertips right here. You can go from, J. Cole to Madonna to Beethoven, all
in
the
one
swipe.
commute,
So it's like,
yeah.
you got so much competition. It's crazy. It doesn't matter how dope you are, So it's
Yeah.
crazy.
You mentioned a minute ago just the kind of different phases in the perspective that you've had, now being in the industry for a while. So rewind a little bit to you guys, getting signed with Tech Nine's label, and just some of that big shift, because that seemed like a big shift for you guys. What was that, back in 2013, 2014? It was a big...
Yeah, around the 2012. We did our first tour with Strange in 2012, where we put our first album on. I hate even saying this, but fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Our first album on Strange turns 10 next year. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
2012 was our first album with Strange.
Yeah.
It was a tectonic shift for us. It was fucking huge.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we had it was a major shift, but at the same time we worked so hard for it to get there. We had grinded and done like mixtapes and promos, and we were like such a well-oiled machine going into that it was almost like it was inevitable. You know what I mean? So like it wasn't a shock. We weren't surprised, right?
Yeah.
Like we fucking drove right into that place in a way.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. We were as big as you could get as a local band.
Right.
We were like popping at the seams, you know what I mean? So it was like somebody was gonna grab us, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was cool. And the thing about Strange is like we signed with a label that's like, yo, was at the time like has almost like gone through its own growing pains, because it was like the best of like these independent labels that would like print their own CDs and go on their own tours, and like, you know, this whole like DIY kind of thing where they were independent for real and making their own money, you know what I mean? And now the industry's changing and shit like that. And oh shit, there's a fucking mouse.
That's probably what was by your head.
Hey, damn. Ratatouille in this bitch.
Ratatouille in this bitch.
Yeah, here we are.
And so so like it's, you know, it's one of those things where like we're with this label that's had to readjust as well, you know.
Fascinating.
Readjust to what's going on. And it's been an interesting thing because it's like all they have to hold on to now, like us, kind of in a way, is like the live show is really what's still like, you can't just roll out of bed and like do a dope show. You still gotta be dope. You still have to have an act.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's kind of the one thing where like you can still make money as a musician, you know, or I guess as a creative person in general, but you know.
Yeah. And that, I mean, there's a hunger for that right now.
Yeah, that's the one other
More than-
upside.
Yeah, I mean,
everything that's
people-
happened is that people want
really
to
want live music again. We took it for granted
totally.
so many different ways.
So
and-
in that sense, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's another thing that excites us about the tour, the fall tour, is that like we know we did a few shows recently, and the vibe is different than it was before.
yes,
You
people
know,
are
there's
way more
definitely
appreciative.
a big complacency
Yeah.
in the live show market. So many options, so many things to do. But then when you take that shit away, people are like, "Oh fuck, I really love that shit."
Yeah.
You know, and you feel that from the stage now. So I feel like driving into October to do this fall tour, we'll feel that.
And people still like seeing other people do things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Like humans like seeing humans like do shit, play
Which is why
guitars,
this,
and do
you
shit.
know, like the sessions and all of that is so popular.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Robots still haven't overtaken.
No,
us
no,
right
No, no. They can't, I mean, if they do, then I
Take
resign.
that,
I
Elon
resign
Musk.
from life.
Don't say never say never.
Oh, it's
That's
coming.
true.
But yeah, man.
So back to that real quick, because I'm curious, you know, being an independent artist and doing a lot of DIY stuff and being, you know, growing and hustling as a local, what was maybe something you didn't expect when you made that jump and you got signed onto a pro label and you started growing in that way? I mean, I know it's kind of like you're looking back on hindsight now, but what were some of the things you were excited about, and then maybe something that you didn't expect?
I think probably one of the biggest like things that revealed itself to us that it was like a growing pain in itself is that we got signed to Strange when Strange was at their arguably their golden era, their pinnacle, when they reached their highest peaks, and Tech was also the biggest, you know, artist in the fucking game at that point, and we got put on to tours with him, did 65 show tour on our first year, and then the second year we looped back around and did 94 shows in 105 days, which they said was like the Guinness World Book record tour for the longest consecutive hip hop tour ever.
Oh my
to this
gosh.
day. So we
Add
did
that
it
to your accolades.
we did, yeah, fuck yeah, I wear that one proud. It was a crazy tour. We did, like I was telling them earlier, that we did 25 shows in a row, then we took one day off, and then we did 26 shows. That was the longest two stretches back to back. So we did 50-something shows with one day off.
I can't
Which was
imagine.
insane. But we were so
Sucks.
it was definitely rugged. It was, you know, it was a lot of fun, and it was Machine Gun Kelly's first tour, so there was an energy there because he wasn't on the label.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of strange artists, and it was a good vibe, good energy. But I think one of our biggest like holy shit moments was we did those two tours, played for thousands and thousands and thousands of people, but then when you come off that, now you got to come back around and book your own tour. And now you got to like see how many of those people from those shows are going to come and mess with you and come and see your show. And that was where we had to do a build. So going out and doing 100 150 shows to Tech Nine's crowd was super dope, and we made a ton of fans. But then when we went to do our first tour, I don't think any of us really expected that we had to kind of really like start grassroots again, because we'd already played to his crowd. Now we got to take it and build our own crowd that's going to the Mayday show. You know what I mean? So we took it was I don't think we expected it to be what it was. Like, it was more challenging than we thought it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? Yeah. I don't know. Am I talking out of turn?
Nah, it's just,
it was crazy. It was like
it's hardcore again. So we're on tour for 2 years, hardcore, and then you gotta like kind of, there's like behind the scenes work you gotta do after that. You know?
Yeah,
it's kind of what it is, you know. And so your team has to be super crazy, on point, bro. Being a musician is to break an artist costs a lot of money, bro.
Absolutely,
A lot of money. A lot of people gotta get paid to spend time on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And then you're like, "Where's my money? I'm the one.
And then you're the one doing all
too, right?
Wait, like at some point, I get paid for my work, right?
and that's my glass like on the way down moment. But I would say, just to keep it like to also drop a positive note, is I by that point when we had signed to Strange, I was like a very underground mentality, came up on underground hip hop, and I was in my head like always like shoot for the stars and all that shit, cool. But I was already kind of like signing off in my mind that like the kind of music that we do would never be mainstream enough to put a plaque on our wall or sell 1 million copies or whatever. And something I wouldn't, if we signed and they would have been like, do you think this is gonna happen? I would have been like, nah, I don't see us like getting certified gold or platinum or whatever with anything that we're doing right now. I think our music's amazing. I just don't think it's mainstream like that, to that effect. And of course, right after our second album, we produced Fragile for Tech, which has Kendrick Lamar on it and Kendall Morgan, and we put that out, did a radio run with that, and went to radio, and it did really well. The video went crazy ape shit on YouTube, and the record, I don't know how long it was after, but maybe a year or somewhat after, goes gold. And that was like a shocker to me. Like, that was in our repertoire. I was like, wow, I wouldn't have like when we signed been like, yeah, we're gonna get a gold record for sure. Like, we're on. Like, that's not how I thought, So like going gold with Fragile was like a super like crowning achievement for us, and something that I like super unpredictable for me. I would have never called that one.
Awesome. So cool. I mean, so what are some of like, you've been able to work with a ton of different artists.
Yes.
Right?
Ton.
I mean,
Our
what
feature
are
list
any
is
of them that
great.
stand out to you that you were like, wow, that was really fun? I mean, I know they're all fun and it's cool to meet a bunch of people, but any that stand out?
You want,
or even just funny ones.
Chime in, I know you're gonna feel me on this. We did a record called The Ride with Del, Funky Homo Sapien, and he came and shot the video with us in Miami, and we had a blast with him. It was super fun. One of our most fun videos we've ever shot. We recorded the record through the wire with him, but he was really like graceful the way he did it. And then when he came to do the video, we had this concept where we're like, yo, okay. And we just met this dude, by the way. So he just comes into our studio, meets all these people, and we're like, yo, man, so here's the concept of the video. We like are chilling at home, and a coffin gets delivered to our house. And we like open a door, and it's like somebody knocked and ran and leaves a coffin, and you're in it, but we don't know you're in it. So when we carry it around Miami, trying to basically like find out where this coffin needs to go. So then like that's the pitch, you know what I mean? And he was
a coffin right there.
There's a wood
like
and an old school like Western wooden coffin, not like a modern coffin, like the creepy coffins. And so he was looking, and he definitely had an apprehensive like look in his eye, like, so wait, you want me in the coffin? Like, I feel like he almost was a little bit like superstitious about it. He's like, I don't know if I really want to get in the coffin. So we're like, we go powwow in the corner, and we're like, we might have to like convince him to do it. I don't know. He looked a little bit skittish on whether or not he wanted to do it. All of a sudden we like look around and be like, oh yeah, and so where'd he go? He's in the coffin already. He's jumped in without us asking. Nobody said, yo, we're going to rehearse or action or anything. He's just in it, just kind of running his verse, like in it, already getting into character. Guy, he was so fucking dope.
That's awesome.
He like, and he was super game for it. And we were shaking the coffin, throwing lights at it. And from then it was a wrap, he was fully into it. Making beats on his iPad, like just a character.
Yeah.
Like
Super cool dude.
when you listen to his music, you imagine him to be that character. He's that guy.
Yes.
That's awesome.
He is
Exactly.
that guy. Yeah.
Oh, mouse fall.
Hello. Oh no. Mouse
Damn.
fall.
Hey, look, are you tired of waking up in the morning with a gnarly hangover from drinking too much booze? We've got a really, really awesome alternative for you. It's called Goodfellow Botanicals. Goodfellow makes euphoric, mood-enhancing, non-alcoholic teas. They're kratom-based, And right now we're offering a spiced honey citrus blended flavor. Kick back, relax, pour yourself a glass at home, at the beach, hanging out with friends, get social with it, hang out, pick up a growler. You can head over to @Goodfellow Botanicals on their Instagram to place an order, to learn more about what goes into their euphoric tea blends. Enjoy, kick back, hang with us, enjoy some Goodfellow.
Celo was another one. That was another good one that was exactly what you expected him to be like. And he was like that, you know, totally pimpish, you know. He had just done Gnarls Barkley, so he was like, yeah, this Gnarls Barkley thing just came out. I think it's going to do good for me, you know.
So we just went to the UK or whatever. Like, I think it might be all right. Like,
bam, exploded, you know. Right
that was before Crazy hit over
Right
here.
before Crazy hit, you know. So definitely, you know, he was another person that was like what you would expect, like funny and like kicking it to every girl.
Which I feel like I asked somebody recently. I'm like, what's Celo up to? Is he just chilling these days?
I guess he's just chilling, collecting his pub checks.
Yeah,
collecting
man,
his crazy checks.
He did do a record not too long ago, but that's
I just see him on IG. That's about it. I don't really be. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's chilling. Whatever he's doing.
Hey, good for him.
He did a lot of writing for people too. He's super talented.
Like a lot of writing.
Oh yeah,
he worked a lot, man. So I could see if he, you know,
wanted to chill. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is interesting. You were talking about the demands of touring. I was listening to an artist kind of talk about the cycle of just touring and then coming back from tour and feeling the pressure to write again. And I wonder if have you guys ever felt that, like, all right, I'm toast. We've been touring this album, but by the time we put it out, we're done working on it. Now we've exposed it and, you know, done a bunch of live shit with it, and now I'm exhausted. That's already been like a year.
Yeah.
Or two, or whatever that looks like. I mean, how have you guys been able to maintain that creative stride?
I feel like we were more. We would come home from tour and be like, "Yo, I'm not going to see you for like a week or two if that's cool. Like, we're going to go into our own little corners or whatever." But for music though, I think we were like, we'd go out on the road and get inspired, and like we'd be on the road. We always were making beats. We're always kind of like working on the next shit. And then I always felt like we got really inspired on the road, like talking to people, hearing like what they liked about our shit, seeing shit, meeting people, talking conversations that you have at the bar or whatever. And then we'd come home like juiced from that, and then be ready to make music. It was really like when we go on tour, we're like burnt on making music. That's like that's why for a little while when we were really like had our schedule going, we had like such a good, like, it's such a good rotation. You like make the album, you're burnt on the studio, you want to get out of the studio, you go on the road, and then you go on the road for a couple months and you vibe and you like perform the songs, and by the time the tour is over, you take your week or two break, and then we were kind of like back into it for real.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
We never had that issue really.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
We're always ready to work.
Yeah.
You know, I think now, to me, at least me, I can't speak for Rec, but you know, like you have a list of things that you want to do, like whatever, fucking flamenco album or reggae album or whatever, you know what I mean? And then like eventually you get to like the end of that list and you're like, okay, now what I want to do, you know, and that's kind of where I'm at a little bit right now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like
the new stuff is sounding great. I know you're here. You guys are both here as Mayday, but you came to record some of your new stuff. And, I mean, it sounds fantastic.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
What's just unpack the project a little bit more for me? Just how'd you push yourself?
I was on the road. It was time to do a solo project. I was listening to a lot of like Stevie Wonder and Mac Miller and shit like that. A lot of like jazz and soul records and
which
shit.
I've heard a lot of it.
You know, and
really digging it.
And yeah, I was just vibing on that vibe, man. And it was really like an introspective type of album for me. You know, it went on during like a, you know, I would fucking. The band was moving and changing and fucking divorce and all that bullshit in life type shit, you know. So it's one of those type albums, you know. And yeah, you know,
it's an amazing album. I'm just gonna talk it up for a second. It's flawless, super fire album. And
thanks, Rec.
And yeah, made during like a very tumultuous time for us, like professionally, personally, like shit was going like crazy. And I always got to give him props because he when we, like, I first joined Mayday, he never had a desire to do solo record, you know. So he was, I came into the group as a solo artist, joined it, and told the guys like, yo man, just so you know, I'm always gonna be kind of want to do my little solo thing or whatever. And they were like gracious and cool, but he was always like, nah, I never really had the itch. And when See You on the Other Side was like pitched, switched, he was kind of like, oh, I feel like you're a little bit like, I guess I'll do it. Fuck it, let's give it a whirl or whatever. And that album came out amazing. But then this album, I feel like, is when you were like primed to go in and do a project without, you didn't even think about doing a solo record.
And I was very lucky too that I got connected with this other producer, Seven, who basically produced the whole album. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we just kind of locked in. Really, when I told him my vision of the album, he like delivered perfectly. You know what I mean? It's kind of jazzy vibe. You know?
Mike Summers, shout out Mike Summers.
Mike Summers.
Holla.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what, and I know it's not this way all the time, but there's something about music or some of the songs that come out of painful. Dark,
I mean, at least for me,
times.
I only write what I know. So definitely, I mean, that's
Like, I can't just sit down and write a happy song and
I have problems with that too.
Life is just falling apart around me. I just don't have
friends call me
inspiration.
I have friends call me up and be like, you okay? You good? And I'm actually like, it's weird. Like, I often feel like sometimes too, like you write sometimes what's missing in your life as well. Like you can get inspired by something that happens too, but there's been times when we're like feeling good about things, but we want to write something that's moody and dark because like you often like, I feel like I know people that are very depressed that write happy shit sometimes too. Like you often sometimes need to fill a void as well. So like I've experienced that a lot, and I just love moody shit, you know, like, and I feel like we hit it off like that when I joined Mayday. I was like, yo, I like to talk about dark apocalyptic shit if that's cool. And he was like, oh, I'm game already. They were already doing stuff like that too. So yeah, we definitely like to go there, Not that we can't go to the happy vibes, but I do like soundtracking that. And also what started to happen to us was we'd go on the road and people would resonate strongly with those records that were about like heartache and pain. And then you'd hear how therapeutic it was for them to hear that, and it makes you want to be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, then I got other stories I can tell you too that are in that vein that you might appreciate, and it feeds it. People are very appreciative of it when you go on the road. They don't. I don't feel like you hear as many people, at least at our shows, go like, yo, man, Happy is my shit. Like, I love that record or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Like, it's really things that resonate that are from painful experiences. So they know they're not alone. When they feel that shit.
Brings people together.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, like, happy moments do, but there's something about, like, shared pain that I feel like is a different human connection.
When you're happy, you don't give a fuck if anyone else is happy, in a way. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, I feel
like,
great.
I'm good. So,
I don't know about y'all, but I feel great. But when you feel bad, the misery loves company thing, like, when you feel bad, you want to know that you're not the only one that feels bad, because then, you're lonely and separated and shit from life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's nice to know. I think it's more beneficial to know that people are feeling a little fucked up with you than to need to know everyone's happy with you.
Yeah, right. That's great. Great point. Bernz, are you taking your stuff on tour? Or are you just waiting, or?
I don't really think that far ahead, man. I kind of just go with the flow, man.
That's good. That's a good way of doing it.
Solo touring's been hard for us to pull off,
maybe. I mean, I'll do a few solo shows here and there, but it's not, I don't know. It's a tough thing, man. Mayday's kind of this big brand and this big thing that we do, so it takes up most of our kind of like time when it comes to that kind of stuff. And then the solo stuff, especially the solo shows for me, is kind of just way more on the side. Like today at Sugarshack was the first time I'd done these songs live.
Wow.
Like
yeah.
What
time? Got the sack, baby.
Real treat.
Go.
Just wait.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah. And then Eddie was telling me that you were talking to him about a podcast that you've been doing.
Oh yeah,
like
TF.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I started this random podcast.
You're like 50 some episodes
I'm like
in?
52 episodes in. Yeah, it's insane. I started it. It started off of like an Instagram joke that I had running. It was really silly and juvenile, which I love that kind of humor. And I was like, I wanted to do something that wasn't music related because I felt like it would be like easy and obvious to do. And normally I'm happy for easy and obvious. I love all that shit. But for the podcast, I was like, I could hear him in my head being like, yo, do something different, at least a little bit. Do something outside the box or whatever. And it came up organically from this joke I had on Instagram where I was just like criticizing people who were doing stupid, dumb shit. And I was like, you know what? Let me like let out my curmudgeon-y, jaded musician soul over here where I'm not talking about music or the business or DSPs and shit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this guy who fucking went to the Dania Beach naked and got arrested for some dumb shit. So I went there. That's where I went. And it's been fun. It's been cool to do. I do have to read a lot of stories that make you like lose your faith in humanity, which is kind of fucked up. I'm like, damn.
Now
Like,
you need new content.
yeah. I'm like, damn. Maybe I should have like done something more positive with my life. But no, it's been fun. It's been cool. And what's dope is that I'm aiming to like get a fan base outside of our music, but of course like our fans listen to it because they fuck with our shit. Yeah. So they dig it. So I work in a little bit of music stuff here and there, but yeah, it's been cool. I just wanted to try something different. It started like during like the end of, or actually like just before the previous year to COVID. So I started it and then COVID hit. And then I was like, well, at least I started something I can just do in my house, which is cool.
Got a project now, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was trying to just basically navigate podcast space when everyone stopped listening to podcasts. So that was tight. Great timing, Wrekonize. Yeah. I was like, I saw how many people were listening in the beginning stats, and then like I saw all the articles. It was like, oh, everyone stopped commuting, so then now no one listens to podcasts.
And is that the main reason? I was going to ask you.
The reason for what? Oh, for yeah, the commute. Oh, yeah, because I mean, when we listen to podcasts, we listen to mostly on the road. When we're on long drives and on the train. Or whatever,
you're not going to sit on your sofa.
Yeah. You don't go like you don't like Netflix
unless you're watching Sugarshack podcast.
Like this, yo, what
yeah, visual ones. So hey, that's a good point. So the first season I just did audio only, and then I was like, well, it is a little bit more viable to watch even if you're not on the go if there is a visual. Yeah. So I started doing video like you guys have here, and I found that to be more helpful for people because if it's just audio only, especially if you're not traveling.
You're so handsome, dog.
Hey, come on now. So it's been fun though, man. It's been cool. We always been trying to diversify what we do. When we travel with all our like colleagues and shit from Strange, they always champion us on our like versatility in what we do and produce.
Because you do this perform. And then you've also got just a lot of cool different ways to represent like your band's brand, in my opinion. Like some of the Mayday TV stuff that you guys try to keep up with, and it seems like that has kind of like a growing it's anything that gets the people back to the music. Like I always tell people like it's very transparent with me. Whatever I'm doing is to get you to at some point go, hey, you have music, right? Oh yeah, I would love you to hear this fucking shit too, or whatever. So we always did like vlogs or whatever, and shit tour vlogs and stuff, and all of that is really just. You did one here, right? When you
we did one when we came here. Yeah, hell yeah. And also
that was my homework. I was like, all right, let me watch y'all's vlog at Sugarshack.
And it's weird because like vlogs don't really push the meter. I've been told mad times before, but I feel like for our diehards, it's something that's cool. And then also, regardless of whether 1,000 people watch it or 10 or 1 million or whatever, it's just another like cool creative muscle to flex that's different from what we normally do with our music and shit. Yeah. So we love editing and shooting a ton of our own videos. So like, I just like to do that shit. So it mixes up the bag a little bit.
This man is a machine. Yeah. He's very self-sufficient when it comes to these things. Wow. Wreck Broadcasting Systems.
WBS.
WBS. I dig it. Right, that needs to be some big LLC that you put together.
Yeah, I didn't put WBS LLC out. WBS
Inc. A TV channel for sure. Yeah, WBS.
Let's go.
Like a cool 70s type promo.
WBS. I
little
like
VCR action going on. Little grain. I dig it.
Okay.
So, I mean, you guys, you've been working together for a while now. So, what's your songwriting process like between the two of you for Mayday? What's that? Has it changed?
We written so many songs, dude. It's really just very fluid at this point.
Mm-hmm. We did an album with Mers, and after we did the album with him, he started calling us the Wonder Twins because he was like, "I see you guys have like musical conversations that you don't have out loud." He's like, it's very odd, like in a dope way. Like you'll be on the same page, but you never like actually said it out loud. And I was like, well, we've been working together for a long time.
Yeah, we've been working together for so long, dude.
Yeah, it's been
hundreds of songs, man. So it's like we'll just be like, you think so? What? Okay. What? It's just like so. We'll pick a topic.
Mm-hmm. Mostly,
we'll start kicking around ideas. Like
conversational stuff. Like friends that we have in the studio, will be like kind of sometimes just like quiz them on what's going on in their life, or talk about cultural events or pop stuff or whatever, pop culture stuff.
Or sometimes, but the song is kind of like this kind of vibe, or it's like it's supposed to be a boom, bam, boom. Like right. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many ways like that.
There's sometimes it's music based, so it'll start by what do we hear in the music, which I always loved. Like before I got into Mayday, that was how I was never the good like kind of songwriter. Like some people just sit somewhere in a corner and go, I've got it, like, and like eureka, like I've got a song, and now I need to find some music for this. That I was never like, I'm not good at music theory, and I don't really play an instrument that well.
I'm good for right now.
Thank you, brother. So I never had that talent, like in that regard. So mostly for me, it's always been music based, and we're hip hop kids initially, so it was always coming from the beat first. So we hear the beat, all right, cool. How does the beat make you feel? Make you feel like this? Oh yeah, I kind of envision this, and then we like go from there. But along the way, he's really good at just picking up ideas pre-music, and he'll be like, yo, I heard. I heard someone say this the other day at the coffee shop or at a party or whatever, and that's always been really dope. He brings a lot of our best Mayday ideas come from his notepad, where he's like, "Yo, I heard this the other day, and I thought that was really dope." And I'm like, "Oh, that's fresh. All right, cool."
That sounds like a song.
Yeah, that sounds like a song. You know,
just overhearing somebody's conversation.
Or somebody you know, you'll tell me something or together. It's just, sometimes they'll say some shit, and you'll be like, damn, that's a song. And usually you can tell when an album is coming when like a lot of those are coming.
Right. You start collecting a ton of them.
Like your ears start to like perk up more than usual, you know what I mean? You're like, oh shit.
You're looking out for it.
We're looking out. They're coming more than, Okay, that notepad section's getting warm, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's always the best.
How many songs like do you guys feel like you write around an album? You know what I mean? Because you'll write X amount, and then how many of them do you write, and then how many of them
probably like, I don't know, 10 to 12 probably, I would think.
Well, like when we're really going and we the thing is, it's always hard to judge
like your album, but then how many songs you write?
It's hard to judge for us because we're always working. So like we treat the studio like a 9 to 5. I just had kids. I had twins, so like my personal schedule is a little bit more lax than it used to be. Like because my life is just a little bit more demanding. But before I had my kids, we would just be in there every day, 9 to 5, basically, so to speak. Whatever 8 hours, and we, regardless of project or no. So then when a project comes up, sometimes we have a pocket full of stuff ready to go already. So then it's hard for us to like really judge. But when the album process, when we go to whittle it down,
let's say the reggae album, which we didn't have shit. That was,
we start from scratch. And
I feel like we get like 16 to 18 tracks, and then we whittle it down to like 12.
The bug attacking you.
He just got attacked.
Yeah, it's a beat though, so I'm just like trying not to get stung and shit.
No, that's cool. Yeah, and everybody, it's so cool to hear, And I love what you were saying earlier. Like, I've never heard that before, where you'll overhear something or conversation, and that will be inspo for a song. I think that's super rad.
Other people write the albums for sure, big time,
Yeah. Sick.
It's more than just the cup that brings warmth and focus to your daily routine. It fuels good times and new beginnings, and unites old friends. And like live music, we gather wherever it's brewing. Beneath these palms, we discuss our dreams. We share songs of love, intention, and inspiration in its purest form. Every pour sparks creativity, and every sip starts a story.
All right, switching it up a little bit. Curveball question.
I love those. Let's go.
What is an insult that you took as a compliment in your time as being in Mayday? Like, hey, that was supposed to be insulting, but it was actually a compliment. Or if you can't think of that, greatest insult of time.
We often it's easier for me to do it in reverse. Like, what was someone that tried to compliment you, but you took as an insult?
Fair. Yeah.
And
I like that all
we've
the time.
had some people over the years like tell us, man, when I first heard you guys, I didn't really fuck with y'all, but I kept listening. I listened to a couple more albums. I really dig y'all shit now. And I'm like, thanks, I guess. Like, that's weird, it's just weird to say, like, yeah, when I first heard you, I was like, nah, not for me. And I just forced my way into you know what I mean? But I get what they were trying to say, but that came off as like kind of, people say crazy shit to us on the road.
On this last project that I put out, I got a lot of like, man, you know what I really like about you too? That like, you don't really do like, popular, like all that popular kind of music or whatever. Like, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'm trying to.
I really like that about you. I'm just like, man, thanks, dude. Like, yeah. He's like, I really like that you don't really go for like that, what everybody's doing. Dope
that radio sound.
Radio sound. He's like, Oh, damn, fuck. You know, thanks for the compliment, bud.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You said people have said crazy things to you on the road and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
is there anything that stands out to you? Like, we asked Little Stranger this too. Like,
Yeah.
craziest moments on the road.
Well, they're all detrimental to my pride, but I'll throw one out there. We were in Kansas City doing Strange Music First Festival. They did Strange Fest with all the artists from the label, and it was really dope and it was fun. And nice, like, pretty girl came down the fucking thing, and she was like, there. We're doing meet and greet. This is before the show. And she came down and she looked at Bernz and Noms and she said, "Hey, no disrespect, I love you guys and everything, but like, I got the biggest crush on Wrek or whatever." And that like never happens to me. So I was like, "Oh shit, that's nice." You know, I was like, sweet. And she was cute shit. So I was like, "Oh, that's dope." So and then she's like, "Oh, can I take a picture with you?" I'm like, "All right, yeah, cool." So then Bernz like, "I'll take it for you." Bernz grabs the camera. He's taking a picture. She's next to me or whatever. This is a couple years ago. I was way heavier, by the way. But anyways, she goes, she puts, we were here and like taking the picture, and she has her like her hand up against my like gut right here, and she's like, "You got a dad bod now." And I was like, painful. Like, I get it. She was trying to be cute, but it was like painful for me. Yeah, I was like, yeah. Shout out to her. I didn't get her name, but yeah. That one hurt my feelings a little bit. I was like, damn, you're feeling like a rock star. And she's like, oh, and I got a compliment. And then, like, not but a minute later, it turned into like a low-key insult for real. So yeah, that happens a lot in meet and greets though, because meet and greets are a little awkward. Just in general, like, people are nervous, or sometimes they meet
and they're big fans, so they kind of like know you in a way, but they don't. But they do. But they don't,
it has to be a very like overpowering energy. Like, oh, what do I do with this? I don't know. What do you do with it?
It's very
as nice as possible, as cool as possible. Yeah, I mean, we love, and a lot of those people you do see after a while, like they are kind of like like the people that get the meet and greets should become family. Yeah, for real. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's interesting, man. It's just, how do you get to know somebody that like already kind of knows you in a way too?
It's been like watching your life.
Yeah, it's we've done so many of them over the years that we've seen a lot of, characters and like just different kinds of people. Some people come in, they don't even want to look you in the eye. They're just so like nervous.
Why did you pay for this meeting?
Yeah, it's like they might. And then a lot of people tell us. What my favorite one is that people tell us like, "Yo, man, I met you guys and it was a tour full of like 6 artists and I didn't know who you guys were." And I always love that. They come in, they don't know us, they meet us, and they're probably not that enthused. Like, they're cool, but they're not like, "Oh, I love you guys." They're not over the moon for us or anything. But then they see our show, and then the next time they see us, it's a fucking whole different story. And and some of them have the wherewithal to tell us the story and be like, "Yo, I came, I knew Tech Nine, I knew whoever, I knew Ritz or something, and then I didn't know you guys, and I met you guys, I took a picture with you guys, or I skipped the picture with you guys, and I feel like an asshole now because I saw your show and I fucking love you guys." And that to me shows like we earned it, and I love that. Yeah,
Well, I love that too about like even when you guys just got here. Like right away, I could just tell you guys were super down to earth dudes, and that's always really fun.
You don't do radio music; you're down to earth.
I feel like
you don't give off that like I'm a star thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just a regular guy, dude.
We were signed to an indie record label in Miami, and they were Mayday as a 2-man group. I was a solo artist, and the Craig Kalman, the Atlantic, right? He was like the head, one of the heads of Atlantic at the time, was coming down, and I was there in a conversation with him and the guys from this label, and they said, "Yo, the guys from Pretty Ricky just walked into the hotel lobby, and the minute they walked in, I knew they're fucking stars, And then I immediately thought, that's never gonna be me. Like, I can never be that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my energy. That's not true, dude. So like, how else can we like do what we do? Like, what I thought then when I heard that,
he's a superstar, bro.
I was like, yo, like, can that ever be me? I don't know if that can be me. Like, I don't know if I have that naturally, like, without having to put it on. But what's cool about what we do and where we've been and what we've carved out for ourselves is, we get that a lot. People say that to us, but I just like, that's just how we are. Like, we don't have to put that on. We're just down to earth. We like talking to people. Yeah. We like drinking with people. We don't like, we're not up here on some bullshit. Yeah. And people,
Mayday grows on you, bro. It's one of those kind of bands.
Not when you first hear us, but when you're not.
No, I mean, and for me, I love that because, you think about big movie stars and stuff. Like, some of them are super down to earth.
Fuck yeah.
In that sense. Right. Like, they're just like, no matter how many people know me or whatever. Like I'm the same me. And I love when people can preserve that level of authenticity.
Yeah.
Because there's something about being authentic and knowing who you are and being yourself and growing in popularity and maintaining that.
Yeah.
And that's what was refreshing. Like when you guys got here, I knew that you guys were a big group and big artists, and being able to interact with you and right away just feeling like, oh, this is going to be a really chill conversation.
Well, thanks.
So
Thank you, man.
Appreciate that.
I'm trying to get rich as fuck so that I could be an asshole.
What they don't talk about when they talk about artists who are like arrogant or assholes or whatever is that those artists, before they got to where they're at to be those assholes, did probably get shit on quite a bit.
That's the thing. You got to get shit on. Or like, a lot of times, that's a great example, like meet and greet type shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I don't know, there's also like a protocol to meet and greet and all that kind of shit, because at the same time, like, you've gotten shit on a lot of times, or like, the way things move. I don't know, whatever. I'm on a tangent.
You have to
right
you have to look out for
follow it. That's why we're here.
You have to look out for patterns emerge. If you meet, like on the last Tech 9 tour we did, I think I counted like it was like 3,500 people. We met 3,000. We shook 3,000 hands, which sounds crazy in COVID times, but we shook 3,000 plus hands in meet and greet alone. That's not including when we'll go out to the bar and kick it with people after the show. But pre the show, we're meeting 3,000 people. You see patterns start to emerge in people, and people do say really foul shit to us at times. And I don't mean like shit that you're gonna punch somebody in the face for, but like they'll say awkward shit they don't understand, or they'll say something that they don't think is an insult that is kind of an insult, So it's very tough to not get like belligerent or like jaded or cynical towards that, because you have to just remember sometimes, like we said, people are nervous or whatever, and then you have to remember there's so many people. For that one person that might have said like, oh shit, you got fat, or you're a dad bod, or whatever, I thought you guys were better last time or some shit, there's like 10 people out there in the crowd that you never meet or don't talk to you that night that like loved your shit. Your shit changed their life, and it was therapeutic, and you won them over, or they just continue to love you. So like we just always try to remember that we might have had a bad experience with whoever that one time, but the next 9 people we're going to meet are going to be dope and going to be worth investing into and being cool with and being us and not having to be,
Well, negative
assholes.
people are always going to be louder. I feel
very
like.
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Very. It's the truest shit ever.
It's like, where are the other thousands of people
You'll
that
read
just saw us
you'll read
live?
100 comments on fucking YouTube
And
that are
the
all like,
one
yo,
stands
your
out.
album was amazing. Shit was amazing. And you're like, dope, fuck yeah. And then you'll read one that says your album sucked and be like, oh, you have a terrible day.
Sticks with you.
One
longer,
comment,
I
yeah.
know.
That's the worst one.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's fucked up.
But yeah, no, one thing I want to say, I want to make sure that we promote his solo album
Yeah.
that he made. It's really amazing.
Thanks, man.
And
Yeah, Pressure Point.
You guys have a
Album.
lot of stuff. I mean, Minutes
it's
to
like,
Midnight, your new
we
solo stuff.
dropped
and
so
then
much music there,
Yeah.
stuff.
you know.
Yeah. We've been like me and him, the solo albums we've done like kind of on an every other or 2 albums rotation. We took little breaks in between, but we've done a Mayday album every year. Every year since we signed. So
Wow.
yeah, we've done almost like 10 albums since we signed It's Strange, Mayday albums, and then we have our solo records too. I just did my 3rd one. He just did his 2nd one. So and he just did a mixtape too. So we work a lot. We love the shit. That's my favorite part about the COVID test, was that it benched us. Like I started a podcast. We're like doing side hustles. We're like trying to figure out ways to like stay in the game, and also like what do we want to do when
I'm a pizza man. You know what I'm saying?
flipping that dough.
Come through the Mama Try if you wanted that ill pizza slice from your boy. You know what I mean?
And the trickiest part about like getting paused and getting benched and not being able to do shows is it makes you think about like, damn, do I really want to keep doing this for real, And I feel like this tour in the fall will like solidify that for us, because the few shows that we have been able to do since the COVID like sit down, I and stop me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we all went out and was like, oh yeah, I love this shit. Like I still love this shit after all these years, all the like trials and tribulations. Get on that stage and like I remember now, like, oh, this is why we did this so much and broke our necks in these past few years before the pause. We love this shit, and it was nice to like be reminded of that when you have to question it after being sat down for a year and a half or whatever. So I feel like I'm really excited going into the next few years for us, the next few projects, the next few tours. Like I'm almost more excited now than I was like 3-4 years ago. So
Sick.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks,
well, guys,
man.
I mean, thanks.
Thank
for
you,
taking
brother.
This time.
Likewise.
And
bro.
make sure y'all go check out Bernz' new stuff.
Sorry
Right
for the
on-
mess.
Sorry for the mess. What's Rex album called?
Pressure Point.
Pressure Point.
Holla.
And then what? Minutes to Midnight.
Minutes to
Minute to Midnight is
Minute to Midnight.
the latest Mayday album, and we'll be back here, do the podcast again for when Rec does his solo stuff,
Yeah, let's talk again.
and we'll talk some more, man.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
Make sure you guys like us, like the videos, subscribe, all this bullshit. What?
Yeah.
A big one for us right now are the reviews, Apple Music reviews,
Apple
or
Music
Apple the
review.
podcast reviews, and
Talk about my shoes. You know what I mean?
spread the
Yes,
word,
Let's go.
share it, like it, whatever. Just do all the stuff so we can keep delivering epic content to you guys. And that's a wrap, fellas. Thank you.
y'all. Sugarshack
Yeah.
podcast.
Thanks for talking with us.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
Sugarshack.
All
Later. I know. It's
He got me.
The bugs are out here.
B got me in my collarbone. That shit hurt.
got some good mice actually, huh?
Yeah.
Definitely some good mice.
He fed, one of them made a jump and he didn't make it.
you didn't make it, dude.
So good.